The best way you can support me is with a simple subscribe. Subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Alright, Mr. TALIAFERRO TV. Alright, this is my first video on a new HD 1080p camera for my videos. So tell me what y'all think about the quality of the content. Alright, so we are talking Meek Mill. Look, I'm going to be talking Meek Mill a lot today. Honestly, I think Meek Mill was a staple in hip-hop, still is. And I think he deserves a day, man. This brother has been sentenced to 2 to 4 years. That's going to drastically change his career. Let's just be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. Like, who knows if Meek can bounce back from this 2 to 4 years? We hope he can. He's been counted out guy. And from his music, he always talks about pretty much being counted out. That's the persona of underdog that he's taken his whole career. So hopefully he can bounce back. We are going to definitely be in Meek's favor as he tries to fight this case. He's going to appeal it. Again, for those who don't know where this transpires, Meek Mill was summoned to court Monday because of previous arrest. All right, Meek Mill's charges or cases have been dropped with the reckless driving in New York, which was more recent, and in the past he caught an assault charge in an airport. Reportedly, a fan wanted a picture. Again, both those cases dropped. But the judge believed that was enough, and I think in conjunction with a failed drug test, I'm not 100% sure about that, don't quote me on that, this was enough to garnish Meek Mill a check-in with the probation and say, yo, Meek, you supposed to be on probation. Are you checking in for every time you want to leave and go to a different city? Are you making sure you're clean, drug-free? He said that in an interview that he hadn't been drug-free as of late, right? So again, these are some of the things that the judge can use against you and say, look, it's time for you to check in. And there's one guy that's definitely, everybody's been speaking out today, honestly. But there's one guy for certain who he's always been in Meek's corner. And honestly, I know Jay's taken a lot of artists under his wing over the years. I've always felt like Jay really related to Meek Mill, or he really seen a lot of him in Meek. Because he's always been around that brother. Remember, even before Nicki and Meek were together, but definitely then, Beyonce and Nicki were working on some music at the time, or working that Feeling Myself remix. Jay and Meek were together a lot with obviously Meek's girlfriend and Jay's wife, Beyonce. You might have heard of Nicki and Beyonce. He's always taken them under his wing, but I think Meek just always looked at Hov as the guy he's looked up to, and I think Jay's always looked at Meek as somebody where he sees a lot of him in Meek, right? So Jay had to come in on this whole situation. This was Jay-Z talking. You could tell it was Jay. It wasn't a general Rock Nation post. This was from Hov, all right? So for those who don't know the lane that Hov's been in, if you haven't seen some of the Khalif Browder, the 6-part docuseries, Jay's using his platform and how hip-hop has been gracious to him to really dive deeper in the court system, especially as it pertains to African Americans. So this is what Jay said on his Facebook account. He said the sentence handed down by the judge against the recommendation of the assistant district attorney and the probation officer is just unjust and heavy-handed. We will always stand by and support Meek Mill both as he attempts to right this wrongful sentence and then in returning to his music career. All right, so what is Jay saying? I don't think Jay's trying to say Meek didn't do anything wrong. He'd be a liar, right? I do believe Meek didn't move the proper way of somebody with 2 strikes. I'll tell y'all that. I feel like Meek could have moved a little better. But to give him 2 to 4 years, I don't know if that's the right way. I get the judge is trying to prove a point. I get you got Meek Mill incarcerated. It's the biggest rapper in Philly right now. It's easy to get him. You know what I mean? Like you can send a message to the whole city. If we could get Meek, we could get you. That's pretty much the message that the judge is sending. I don't really think 2 to 4 years was necessary, especially with both the cases dropped. If you want to tap Meek on the hand and say, yo, you forgetting, I will lock your behind up. Give him a couple months, give him 2-3 months. I don't want anybody to do jail time. I thought you could give Meek maybe another tap on the hand, maybe house arrest again. But to put him in jail, especially for 2 years, come on now. 2 to 4, by the way. We're just being generous, thinking that if Meek gets out on good behavior, it could be 2. It's minimum 2, maximum 4. 4 years will put Meek around 34, 35, trying to revitalize his career. We've seen a lot of 34, 35-year-old artists not be able to do so. We've seen a few cases where artists have been able to get it together, but very tough at the age to revitalize your career. When the only record for Meek that'll probably still be around is the intro, right? I would think the intro would be the only record that still be around. Again, salute the whole for coming in and saying, look, this is a bit much. And I agree, this is a bit much. But at the same time, Meek's got to obey by the law. We ain't finna act like Meek ain't do nothing. Like I said in the previous video, even just pulling up on Safari BET Hip Awards weekend, to me, I wouldn't have did that. You know the cameras are around, right? And to me, for a guy that has 2 strikes, right? I've seen Gucci Mane clean it up, and I've seen just people I know in my life have to clean it up when they know 2 strikes. And it don't just got to be with the law. Like if you in 2 strikes deep with your girl, you know you got to clean it up. You know you got, if you gonna do something, you better do it behind the scenes. I got a lot of my partners in 2 strikes at their job, right? Or friends that's in 2 strikes with their job. You know you probably need to clean your act up. You don't need to be the one to be involved in any more incidents, because that person might get strike 1, you might get strike 3, and you might be out. Again, I just think Meek didn't move around with the Safari thing. I know Meek didn't put his hands on Safari, but just letting that be on camera and TMZ being the ones to get that, I don't think it was smart. And I just think the chasers, somebody should have been around Meek to say, yo, this ain't, I get it, Safari might have said some things or people might have wronged you. We can't be doing this right now, especially not the most popping weekend in Los Angeles for black people. That doesn't seem smart. Thank y'all for the time of support. Again, Jay gives his comments, excuse me, on Meek's situation. And subscribe to my channel for more exclusive content like this. What you guys think, man? Jay said this ain't right, and they're doing it because, you know, Meek's an African-American rapper. Again, I will say this as we close here. So, you can violate probation just by being arrested, right? Let's make that clear. Even though your cases can be dropped, anything where the police are called to you, that could be a probation violation. I think we want to give Meek a hand because or we want to give him a pass because he's a rapper. That's not the police's responsibility or the court system's responsibility because Meek's a rapper, right? It's still a confrontation with the police, or not confrontation, but still the police were called to an incident in the airport. He was charged with, he had assault on him. That case was dropped. Again, I think people are saying, yo, the case was dropped. But the thing is, the court system not looking at Meek as a rapper. They don't care if he's a rapper or a public figure or not. The police were called to this incident, and then with the New York, with the bike thing, again, a lot of us want to say, yo, the case was dropped. Again, the court system's like, yo, the police were called and Meek was obtained, right? Detained for a few minutes or a couple hours. So I think we really want the court system to give Meek passes that if me and you, if we're on probation, right, and yo, the police are called to my house because of a domestic dispute or something like that, like, or an argument or whatever it is, yo, you do realize they told you to stay low until you got off probation. Not just because he's a rapper. That has nothing to do with the court system. It's not their responsibility. It's not on them that he's a rapper. Like, I do think people want to give Meek a pass because he's a rapper and he has to be in the public domain. That's how he does work. I just don't think they care enough, because if it were me or you, right? If it were me or you, we would need to stay low until the probation is over and not be involved in anything. Talk to me, comment box below. Subscribe to my channel, more exclusive content like this. I'm out. What's going on is yours truly, Mr. TALIAFERRO. And if you enjoyed this latest video, whether it's sports, hip-hop, or other culture-related activities, please subscribe to my channel right now. And if you want more from TALIAFERRO, you can always subscribe to the React channel for more of your latest reactions and music and sports highlights.